Good morning, Mark, Imen. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Of
Thank you
course,
for
of
having
course.
us.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. So today we wanted to do an Ask Me Anything as it relates to the FIR program that's coming up available for the Journey Ventures. What I thought we can do today is first talk a little bit about the mission of the Journey Ventures, talk a little bit about who your ideal FIR is, maybe even what an FIR is for those that don't understand. Let's dive into the application process and helping to provide any tips or best practices for that, part of the experience. And then let's move into, what the actual program feels and looks like. And then after that, we can talk a little bit about some of the benefits as an alumni. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Thanks, Daniela. We will follow your lead.
Okay, perfect. So Mark, tell us a little bit about how the Journey Ventures got started and what your mission is.
Yeah, absolutely. So my business partner, Justin Bayliss, and I launched the Journey Venture Studio in sort of late 2022, early 2023, with a goal of closing the racial and gender opportunity gap in venture capital. So today, less than 2% of all VC funding is going towards women, and less than 2% of all VC funding is going towards Black and Brown founders. Those numbers are really stark, and they're especially stubborn. They've been sort of stuck at these low levels ever since 2016. And despite, the social conversations around George Floyd and equity, we haven't really moved the needle on them. And so Justin, through his entrepreneurial endeavors, never received any VC funding. He built a wildly successful business, sold for 9 figures in 2021, but only ever received one SBA loan. And so we got together and talked about how do we change those numbers? How do we move the needle? And we thought a venture studio would be a great way to do it. We wanted to get more founders in the pipeline, give them the tools, support, and training to be successful while also removing the barriers that prevent them from living in this space. So, for example, a lot of entrepreneurs rely on family support or social networks that friends and family round of funding. So we provide a $110,000 fellowship, which includes salary, health benefits, a venture building budget, housing, so that they can focus 100% exclusively on building their venture and remove some of those financial obligations that prevent typically women and diverse founders from entering the entrepreneurial realm at all. At the same time, we provide mental health coaching and leadership development, venture building playbooks, so that they've got the tools, resources, and support system to succeed in a network and in a world that maybe wasn't built with them in mind.
It's incredible. I love to hear this vision coming to life. You're filling a huge gap and a huge need. And I love the approach from a holistic aspect because as we all know, the journey is not for the faint-hearted. So having thought about all those potential pitfalls and planning for them is massive. So excited for you guys. Imen, can you give us a little bit of an intro?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here, and thank you, Mark, for allowing me and giving me this opportunity to be part of this cohort. It's the inaugural cohort, so it's such an honor, a mission. I don't want to call it like a weight on my shoulder because I'm happily carrying it. I guess if pitch day is April 25th, I think I am still happily carrying that. But yeah, I am Imen Maroufi Clark. I am an immigrant, clearly, if you can hear the accent. Landed in your beautiful country 7 years ago with grad school, and then from there was super passionate about solving problems that happen to be in healthcare. And right now, as I said, I am the first FIR female of this cohort, and I am solving for women's health problem.
Incredible. We are so happy to have you in the ecosystem. It's just, you feel your energy. If you've met Imen, you know what I'm talking about. So happy that you're here. And thank you for being willing to share a little bit about your experience for the inaugural cohort. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So first off, like, how did you even find out about this opportunity? I'm very curious.
I think this is a very good question, although I think it's very different for each one of us. I believe that opportunity comes to you when you are ready, and then you decide what you want to do with them. And then the definition of ready, like people could feel always that they are never ready, but I think it happens in a very magical way. And I found the journey because I was convinced that what I needed was a venture studio that could do with me a lot of heavy lifting, have a team that I could innovate with, bounce ideas off, as I am a person who loves to do that. I went to a big health conference, Vive, last year. It happened in Nashville. And that's when I started conversations with venture studios and understanding their models, how they do the split, at what stage you get the support, etc. And I was obsessed ever since with that idea, especially that I am a second-time founder, also in digital health. I knew what I did not have in the past and what could accelerate my success. And I went ahead and I started looking for venture studios that are innovating in healthcare, because I knew what I knew and I knew what I needed help with. And I stumbled on the press release of the Journey Venture Studio, found Mark on LinkedIn with an impressive background, and started asking him questions about, like, when is the application. It also, that's what I'm saying, is like I usually talk about luck a lot, but it's alignment. And when I found that out, they had application going on at that time. Exactly. So what I had that week, I applied, went fast through the process, and I did not have any expectations aside from the fact that, oh, actually, this is a good idea. And from there, here we are, spending every day together, and acting like one big family. And I know the word family is very tricky in business, but the truth is, you all know it takes a village.
I love that so much. Aligned connection, that's what it's about. So how long do we have before this next application closes?
So we are in the home stretch. I think we're open until April 19th for next cohort. As Imen mentioned, this is the inaugural cohort. So we've got 2 founders in the process, but we're looking to scale up and select between 4 and 6 founders for next year. The program will kick off in September and typically runs from first thing in September till the end of April. And we do recruit sort of in a fall timeline and a spring timeline. So if the next 2.5 weeks feels a little bit rushed, that's to kick off in September 2024, but I'll be back out pounding the pavement for applicants in the fall of 2024 for our next cohort in fall of 2025. So we're constantly looking for great talent, both locally and nationally, and hope that you find us.
Fantastic. Can you describe like who the ideal FIR would be for joining?
Absolutely. So we're looking for kind of underrepresented individuals from diverse backgrounds that have a passion for healthcare and solving healthcare challenges, that embody what we believe are the traits of a great entrepreneur. And so we look for coachability, perseverance, grit, tenacity, history of experiencing and overcoming adversity and maybe even failure. Individuals who have taken chances or risks or know that they want to be a founder and try and start this company. And so we do a sort of different type of interview process where we're really trying to get at the character traits and attributes of an individual. It's less about past experience and what you've maybe built or done in your career, and more about, do you have the right character traits that when things get hard, you're able to pick yourself back up and keep going? Do you have the right kind of horsepower and engine that you can see problems from a certain kind of way? We are typically searching for those founders on the younger side, so looking for between 22 and 35-ish. We know that risk sort of compounds, and later in life, not everyone has the appetite or ability to give up everything for 8 months and build something to last. And so we want to teach great habits and give this kind of training opportunity for people earlier in their careers who are really hungry, and maybe haven't had the mentorship, the guidance, and the support yet, but have the drive and the ambition and the heart to build it.
That's great. I love the more detailed we can get, the better we can attract the right person. So I think that's super helpful to kind of define it that way. So let's dive into the application process. Let's keep it real, Imen. I know you always keep it real, but like tell us, how difficult was it? What things should founders be prepared for as they're approaching the application?
I think one thing for sure, and I actually had an honest conversation with Mark about this. There are when somebody are in the winning mode of like I want to. When people apply for a job, they don't apply to not get the job. So everybody tries to align themselves the maximum possible so they are attractive enough to the recruiter to get the job. So first thing that I want to tell people, you have to, first of all, be convinced that this is what you really want to do. It is not about trying to convince the recruiter in this, because it's not just a job that you could the next year say, oh, I'm going to change the job, or like I'm going to switch job. Yes, you can, but the whole point and the whole system and ecosystem and all the support and resources that is giving to the FIR in the beginning is for the hope and the vision and the common goal to have them succeed to build a company. So first thing first, be convicted that that's what you want to do. And it's not an easy path. I never heard somebody say building a company was so easy. It's fun. We could make it fun, but I never thought that that's it. So try to do the application to the best of your ability to reflect the real why of why you want to do that and why you might be at the right stage of your life to be able to do that. I don't think of it as hard. I think of it as real. It's just that people, if they're asking for fast responses or like just for recruiters to be responsive to their application, they will find that. But at the same time, there is the part of the FIR that they have to do that, be diligent, be real, be authentic. It's like very, you could tell if somebody is doing it just to win the interview process. Aside from that, talk about like what makes you resilient, what makes you want to work with a team, what are the values that are important to you, and think about it as you are really thinking about this for the future to build the team, and think about and be honest about the things that you would want to help and support with, and why are you joining a venture studio. And then I think that's the best advice I could give. Be authentic and be real about the application, and don't treat it as a job application, because it's not. It's like going to be a very, very, very important time of your life.
Now, I love the way that you describe that. This isn't an average job. So FIR, founder in residence, you are there, you are ingrained in the entire ecosystem, the community, the office, the network. I would manage all of that gets infused.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's I'm gonna give this example, even though like they're very different, but like people, when they apply and they submit their application for a PhD or like a postdoc fellowship, whatever, they know that they are entering a cycle of 5 to 7 years. And it's not a joke. They're not just applying because that's after the master's degree. And I think that this, because it will be touching on lots of resources and hopefully millions of dollars and employees and creating jobs, just make sure, and this is not to scare people, but I think that they are absolutely looking for people who are sure that they want to do this and they're ready to kill it. And I'm so excited to see the next cohort too.
That's great. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? That's part of the game. So you pretty much uprooted your entire life and moved to Phoenix. And Mark, I love that you are kind of opening up this opportunity from a national standpoint, with Phoenix being at an inflection point from a startup ecosystem perspective. Iman, I'm just curious, like your integration into the community, your relocation, like how would you describe that?
Yeah, my relocation, you can think about it as a U-Haul, on top of it, an SUV, 2 bikes, me and my husband, my 100-pound dog, and driving from California to come to Phoenix, because it's a leap of faith. It's like, it was like I needed to trust and I needed to believe, and I was lucky enough to have like my husband be able to support this decision as a musician to leave Hollywood and to come to Phoenix. That was a sacrifice from his end as well. But as I'm saying, it was, first of all, the team will do everything and did everything to accommodate us. It was, I arrived with a card that arrived to my apartment before I did. Everything was like, you felt people were caring. There was like a car that was rented in case we needed furniture. There was furniture aligned to come. So like from work and so because that's the first ecosystem that we are embedded in. So that's why I say it's a very fun relationship, like that you feel it's family but friends, but there is this respect and there is mutual trust, and like, but it also takes time and takes a lot of belief to be able to build that relationship. And then from there, Mark already had filled our calendars of all the events that we're going to. I remember the first day I was like, oh, I know that there is Venture Cafe in Phoenix too, because there are a couple of them in the world. And I happened that the places that I picked to live in, there is one. And he was like, check your calendar, you have it there already. So it was in the beginning him guiding us a lot, like to meet people, to know where to go, introducing us instead of like just go to Venture Cafe and introduce yourself. It was, to be honest, a lot of privilege to say we are here working under Mark Mormons, because he's the managing director of the studio in the end, and that was amazing. Of course, Justin as well, and everybody else. But at that point, when we enter the PBC 850 PBC building, we are with Mark. We are here with Mark, and that was such an honor. And then from there were people like you, who is a founder, a community builder, etc., who was always like, be like, here's an event, come join us. I feel like people were very welcoming and supporting and excited to see what we got. It wasn't more of like, oh, who are these people who are coming here? And I felt it was really amazing. So thank you for keeping inviting me to these events. And thank you, Mark, on a public note, for everything you've done so far.
Well,
And
and
this is
Daniela, I'll just add to that too. So you and I know Phoenix is one of the most generous startup communities and ecosystems. Imen mentioned it takes a village, and a core part of this process and program is to connect our founders with everything else that's going on in Phoenix. Phoenix is an emerging tech hub. You mentioned it's at an inflection point. It's a fantastic place because it is so meritocratic. It's got that frontier mentality. If you're hardworking, if you're smart, you can sort of navigate the community to build what you need to build. And there's evidence of that all over the place, from founders that have moved here and built successful companies, community builders that have moved here and really added to the ecosystem. And so for those looking at this startup world, I think generally Phoenix is a great place to do it. And that's why we're headquartered here in Phoenix. From a healthcare perspective, we're becoming a major hub for healthcare innovation. And every week, Imen or our other founder, Akenna, would kind of mention, did you know this was here? Did you know this top researcher was here? Did you know this was here? And we're like, yeah, that's why we're here. That's why this is happening. And so it's been a lot of fun for me personally to introduce such talented, amazing people from all over the country to what's happening here in Phoenix. But it's even more fun once they're here to expose them and introduce them and connect them to everything going on here, because that makes my job easier, because we've got Daniela's guiding Imen to different areas, or we can rely on each other and build each other up because we want our community to succeed. And that's one of our secret sauces.
Love this. Speaking my language, I've had the goosebumps like 5 times, I think. So this is the power of community, right? Is when you can move to a new place and integrate this quickly, find your people, find the like-minded groups that you want to be a part of that are helping to inspire you, the faster we can be productive. And the more we can contribute to our happiness as we're building and really choosing our adventure as we navigate this process. So I love everything that you've shared. Now let's move into, you talked a little bit about the network, the access. So, okay, great. You've been accepted as an FIR, you're jumping into this program. How would you describe the level of intensity, the level of expectations from KPIs being met? Tell us a little bit about that part, from like the education aspect, access to network, connections, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about it this way. It's like from day one that you entered, you are very clear. I am here to test and validate and iterate and change and take it down and put it up. But I have specific amount of months by which I should show viability and stickiness and desirability by a customer and feasibility by the current resources that I have. So like you already enter like knowing what it is. And I think that's amazing because you are focusing on your Northern Star and you're doing kind of a retro planning. And I think that's the cushion that the venture studio gives you. Because usually what happens is you are working in your living room as a solo founder, and you are like doing a lot of activity. And somebody said a very beautiful sentence last week that I'm referencing it a lot. Don't confuse activity for progress. So like, and you're going and you're meeting people and you're doing everything until you get enough traction and people start talking to you, especially in healthcare. It's like, it's not easy, the sales cycle and how long you will get to be on somebody's calendar to have that conversation and hope for it to go well. Then an accelerator will accept you. An accelerator that is even, we are talking about ideation or like prototype or pre-idea, whatever that would be. Then from there, you get mentors who talk to you about fall in love with the problem of the solution, the customer discovery, after you have been like for, I don't know how many weeks or how many months, and some founders for years, obsessed about your own idea that you created in the living room. Then you go back and you pivot and you do customer discovery, and then you put down that code that you have written and you relaunch it again. I think with the venture studio and with the Journey Venture Studio, as I'm talking about my personal experience here, you know that you are already with the right people in the right room, as I'm, and I mean by that, like mentors, people who are subject matter experts in very specific areas, and you having those early on conversation. So your first 8 months are maximizing your success. So you're not just doing the activity without that. But at the same time, the program is like, there are phases of it. The first like 2.5 months, I believe, because everything goes super fast, is like fall in love with the problem, not with the solution. It justified that there is enough market opportunity, that this work is worth doing, etc. Then work on your business model, work on your value proposition, early signs of your business, be ready for your investors. So you kind of like squeezed what people would do for 2 years in 8 months with experts on your shoulders to do it. Then now, like if those experts are giving you their time, they're of course expecting delivery and like being sharp and concrete on your deliverable, on your presentation, on meeting people, on being always on your toes in a way, not in a bad way, that somebody will come in today and I don't know what that relationship could be, and I always have to be ready. So I think, yeah, and then we have our one-on-ones with Mark, we have our one-on-ones with Justin, we have our own sessions with lots of mentors and experts by our own. It's not also kind of like you only meet them if there is somebody representing the journey. So we have our right to go talk to these people, etc. And then after doing that, after converging to different places, we come back end of the week, diverge with Mark, think about what was done, what needs to be done, where are you? Sometimes you get out happy that Friday. Sometimes that means that your weekend you're working, and it is what it is. But it's good to feel like even if I fall, there are people like giving their hand to lift me back up, and that's such an empowering feeling, honestly, for a founder, for somebody who's spent like couple of years now doing this and trying to get something off the ground. I feel I've never been confident like this, because the knowledge is there. The training is continuous. It's not about what I don't know today, I will know tomorrow, and what I will know tomorrow I probably didn't know today. So that's always fun. Accountability is amazing. And definitely what makes it easy for KPIs, metrics, how easy is the trust that is built to allow somebody to say, oh, it's not that Mark hates me, has something against me, is that he is equally committed to my success. And that I think that's what I am super, super proud of, that we were able to build this relationship in the first cohort, because so many venture studios are going to come and say, we launched successful businesses. But I think this in such a short time was amazing to see it be built organically, authentically, and in a way that empowers everybody.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah, the design is very well thought out, and to have the accountability baked in, the mentorship, pick you up when you're down. That's what it's about. So incredible. Okay, we just have a couple of minutes left. Wanted to talk about, so demo day is coming the 25th. Is that right?
Yes.
Incredible. So what happens after that? Are there benefits as an alumni FIR? Where do we go from there post demo day?
So there's a lot of weight on demo day, because it's going to determine whether our founders receive sort of that initial funding round to keep going. And so we are syndicating with investment partners. Our kind of floor goal is $250,000. So we're not even talking pre-seed. This is really kind of an extended friends and family round to give maybe 12 months of runway. One of those investors may or may not be 10 figures, which is sort of a similar values aligned organization investing in healthcare companies led by diverse founders. And if investment from them comes, they can sort of graduate and move under their roof, which so happens to be the second floor of my roof. So, so there's a lot of alignment and connection. They can kind of move upstairs and keep building under those circumstances. We want to nurture our portfolio companies as well, in terms of kind of ongoing, the Journey would have a board seat on their board. If they're hiring or doing recruiting, I'm out talking to talent across the country all the time. We can throw it on our socials, on our website. And then, as most venture studios do, there's support for things like marketing, accounting, legal. And while we are not yet ready to provide those directly, we have a vast network that we can point to, recommend, refer, discount with the relationships that we're building. And so it's exciting to get them to this point. What I'm really, really pumped for is 3-4 years down the road, when we've got 5, 10, 15 alumni, to be able to bring them together in these kind of alumni summits where they can share lessons learned, funding opportunities, talent. And so we're creating this really exciting community within community, not to be exclusive, but to add to it. And we want the fact that you're an alum of the Founder in Residence program to mean something, that you're a part of something, and that you have community to fall back on, not just with the studio itself, but other similar founders. And so you mentioned kind of what does the process and the program look like? It's hard. It's a sprint, and we have a standard of excellence that we hold throughout. And Imen knows, because if there's an accountability component to all of that. We want to make entrepreneurship accessible, not easy, is how I would put it. And so if you're a part of that group, that should mean something. It means that you've kind of been through the ringer. You've kind of gotten the training that we think is necessary to succeed in this role. And we're not going to bring you to the end of the process if we don't think that you're ready for it. We're not going to kind of drag people along for the sake of dragging people along. And so that alumni group is people that have performed, that have made it, that are growing. And we also want that alumni group to feed into everything else that Arizona does great. So whether they choose to join Startup AZ Foundation or apply for the Arizona Innovation Challenge or pitch at Venture Madness, we're trying to add more to the top of the funnel of startups and founders that are here, building companies, supporting other founders, and taking advantage of all that the Arizona ecosystem has to offer.
So such a tremendous opportunity for healthcare founders. I hope you guys are getting some incredible talent in the pipeline. Only a couple more weeks to apply. So thank you both so much for breaking things down, telling us how the experience was from start to finish, and excited to see who the next cohort is and for demo day. So thank you both for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you, Daniela.
Bye.